Prepare your mind, body, and soul for the 4x4. I'm going to show you how to solve the entire thing and wow your friends. Hello, today we're going to go ahead and solve the 4x4 Rubik's Cube, or known as the Rubik's Cube Revenge Cube. It's actually a pretty fun cube. I like it because there's a number of things that come up with it, a number of parodies, because there is no center, so when you scramble it, you have to build the centers in. So, notice that, otherwise, you have 4x4, there's no center cube. So there's an element of challenge knowing, that white always is opposite to yellow, blue is always opposite to green, red is always opposite to orange, and kind of where those things fall in line. So today I'm going to go ahead and take you through it. I'm also going to show you all the parody scenarios. I've also made videos of the individual parodies for quick reference in the event that you do solve this and you don't want to watch through a 25-30 minute video to see a full solve. If you want to just see the parody solves. I'll also link those to the video as well as in the channel. So yeah, so anyways, let's get started. So now that you have a scrambled cube, the first thing you're going to want to do is build the centers. So like I told you, there is no true center. The center in this case is going to be the 4 squares. So this is going to be solved like a 3x3. And so you have to set it up like a 3x3. Again, you need to build the center, build the edge pieces, and the corners will fall in line. So let's go ahead and start with the center pieces, okay? So building the centers is a bit intuitive. It doesn't make a difference, of these little edge pieces. All you really care about is getting the 4 corners in. So again, this is a bit intuitive, and I'll go ahead and show you how I do it and give you some tips on how to kind of get these cubes in place. So again, you see a white right there. I'm gonna bring it up. I saw a white up here, so I need to get that down. So I'm gonna go ahead and shift this thing over up here, bring this thing up, bring it back down, and bring it in. So now I've got 4 there. I always like to go with the corresponding sides. So in this case, I'm gonna build the yellow. The yellow goes right here. Again, it's because it's the opposite of the white. So I need to get cubes in place. So I'm going to go ahead and build the yellow there. It's right there. I'm going to bring it up, shift it over, so these cubes are intact, and I'm starting to build the yellow center. Oh, I see that I've already got a yellow center finished right there. So in this case, you could do it one of 2 ways. I like to just do it like this, to where I line it up in a row. I bring this piece up. This is going to be shifted out. Then I'm going to rotate this over and bring it down. That's intact, and now that's solid. The second thing I like to do is the red, because it doesn't make a difference where the red is, because again, red is always between yellow, and I just like red because it's just an even thing. In this case, red is done, so I'm going to go ahead and shift that down. It didn't change the white or the yellow, but now I have a red. A little trick about the red is, or how to build the rest of the squares up, is that I always think of the American flag, and it's red, white, blue. So it's just something I've always known. So whenever I think of the 4x4 or a 6x6 or an 8x8 or a 10x10, I always build the centers the same way. Red, white, blue. So I know blue is going to be right here. In this case, I have something already kind of built. So again, I'm going to start building the center like I always do, shifting things out. This is already there. I'm going to bring that up. I'm going to shift this over. Red's intact, blue's intact, white is intact. yellow's intact. So that leaves the last two, which is going to be the green and the orange. We already know that the red and the orange are opposite, so green has to go here. This is a little bit trickier, but it's very easy if you understand how to kind of get things in place. Obviously, you can't do that and shift things around because you're always going to have this odd piece. So what you want to do, let's say it's like this. You want to build it up to where you have to put a cube out and replace a cube back in. So in this case, I like to make it to where I've got a, like I said, green and orange, and a green and orange. So I'm going to build it up, and I'm going to drop it in. But in that case, I have messed it up. You know, so this is basically, I'm showing you, if you do happen to do this, it's a very easy correction. So let's, because obviously red and orange is, so orange should be here. So what you do is you just go green up, down, green up, down. So now you have got a fully solved center, everything's intact, and you're good, and you're in place. All right, now that you've built your centers in successfully and they're all there, now it's time to build the edges. And the edges are really simple. Once you kind of get the hang of this step, it'll make a lot more sense as you move forward. So what I like to do is start with the white edge, because again, it just stands out the most. I can quickly reference it, and it's just good to get, you know, the 4 out of the way. So what you want to do is find colors, like for instance, I see orange and white, and I see orange and white. Oh, cool. So since this is like this, there's, you know, it's a little trick to do to get this out, to get these to where, because obviously you can't cross them over. You want to get it to where, let's say this was it right here, you want to get it to where these will line up like that when you shift it over one and get all these cubes out of a line. So a little trick is when you want to take it and go flip it up, and you want to go U, F, U prime, L prime. And what that does is it gets it to where I shift the cubes over. Now I have a solid edge. So what you do is you want to take all these over, and you want to shift them up, put in some garbage. In this case, I've got unlimited garbage. Basically, garbage in this case is going to be any 2 different cubes, any squares that are different. So obviously, I don't want to bring this down, because when I bring it down, I'm going to shift it over and it's going to be separated. So I'm going to bring that up, move it out of the way, bring it down, and bring it back. So now I've got an intact edge right here, and now I've got this to go work with. So let's go ahead and find something else. So now I've got a red and white and a red and white. So in this case, I'm going to bring that down, bring it over. So now I got the white and the red. I'm going to bring it up. I can't bring it over here because that's intact. I don't want to put that in place, because if I do, I'm going to separate it and it's going to be gone. So I'm going to go ahead and bring another piece of garbage in, bring it down, and bring it over. So now I've got white and red and white and orange. I'm going to do a few more, or I'll do a couple more, and then I'll finish the piece, and I'll show you what I finish. I'll show you what the last step is, because then it's a parity step. So again, here's white and green. I'm going to bring that up. So now I've got opposites. Bring it up, over, bring it over, because that's again garbage piece. Bring it down and in. And then I'll do the last. So I got blue and white, and I got blue and white. So in this case, over, blue and white. Bring it up, find the only garbage piece I have up here, and bring it down. Now you're gonna find garbage all around. So again, if you say you wanna combine, you know, these 2 right here, and there's no garbage at all, these are all solid. So let's say you bring these 2 over, and let's just say these were matching. You couldn't bring it up here because there's nothing to bring it in. So what you do is you just rotate the cube. Now you have a whole bunch of garbage, or rotate the face, and now you got more garbage. Do this again until you have about 2 left, because you may run into an issue where there's a parity. In a perfect world, you finish your last step and it all comes together and it's perfect. But again, I'll solve it real fast and I'll show you what the last step would or could look like, okay? Okay, so I went ahead and quickly solved all the edges, except for 2. You know, in my case, I actually solved it and they all came together, so I went ahead and made a parity for you just to show you what I mean. So in this case, all the edges look right, except you have this situation where you have, oops, this right here and this right here. So now you have to get them in place. Now you'd think having opposite makes sense, because again, right there, you bring it up, you bring it back down, what are you gonna do? And an opposite right here. In this case, you actually wanna make them to where both red and yellow, in this case red and yellow, are on the same plane, and the red and green and red and green. It might be two different colors for you, but in this case, this is what it is for me. So how you do it, again, like before, you want to use a little algorithm I taught you prior to get them in place. So put the cube up. So again, all the garbage right here that's like mixed up, put it up, and you want to go U, F, U prime, L. And now you have them in the same plane, red and green, U and yellow, or red and yellow, right there. All right, so let's go ahead and solve this parity. And again, I've already made a video showing the other parities, but this parity I had not shown in another video, so this is gonna be my first video showing this parity scenario. So I'm gonna use the bottom and the middle bottom together. So I'm gonna be using both. So when I say in the algorithm below, I'm gonna put B and little M, B, so as in middle bottom. So I'm going to take middle bottom, I'm gonna go bottom, middle bottom, right, F prime, U, R prime, F, and then I'm going to bring the bottoms together. And now I've got solved edges all the way around. So at this point, you're going to want to solve the edges like a 3x3, because now you have your centers, and now you have your edge pieces, like you would in a Rubik's Cube. So imagine this is a 3x3. Layer 1, layer 2, and the layer 3. Layer 1, layer 2, layer 3. So again, solve it like a Rubik's Cube. In this case, I'm going to move my white over there. I'm going to bring it up so it's in line. Again, I've got a red and a green, a red and a white. So that's not going to work there. So I'm going to bring it down. Now it's in line. Now I got a blue, so I'm going to bring the blue piece in. And again, I hope you understand how to solve a regular Rubik's Cube, because this will make a whole lot more sense if you do. And if you don't know how to solve a Rubik's Cube already, I have a video you can watch, and it's, again, linked to my profile, and I'll probably link it to the end of this video so you can understand that. But I do hope that you understand how to do a regular Rubik's Cube before you buy this cube. Yeah. So now I'm going to put the edges in. Again, I've got the white cross, and now I'm going to find got the blue and red and white, blue, red, and white. Bring it down, bring it in. I got orange and blue and white. Bring it in. I got a green, orange, and white, green, orange, and white. I'm gonna bring it out, bring it back in, and now it's in place. I got red, green, and white, the only last place to go. So I'm gonna bring that color out so I can get it in place. And now I've got the full top level solved. Okay, so since now we have the whole top layer done, now it's time to solve the middle layer. And again, the middle layer is gonna be solved just like a Rubik's Cube. Thinking that this is the first layer, again, that we have solved. This is the second layer. So think of everything you do in the second layer is done in twos. And the third layer is the bottom layer. You want to avoid, anything with yellow to it. So in this case, you got a orange and a blue, orange and a blue. So once you want it to go here, I'm going to put the algorithms down below, and I'm just going to show you how to do this in slow motion. I personally am not a fan of distracting people with algorithms by saying like D, U, U prime, because it does get confusing. So I'll put them down below for those of you who understand what U and U prime are, and R and L and D and B in front. So again, I'm going to go ahead and just show you so it makes sense. So in this case, I'm going to bring it away. So now it's over here. Left is going to go down, back up, over, down, over, up. And again, I understand how algorithms work. I understand this is, keeping the cube in here if you do this and this. But again, I like to move my cube around when I'm doing these things. It just makes more sense to me. But again, if you want to see it, any algorithm I put, you're going to want to do it with the face, you know, basically it like this, and you're going to want to follow it where I go. Like if I were to go U prime, you're not going to want to go, you know, U. So if that makes any sense. So again, red and green's over here. Going to go and do the algorithm again. Back over. And that's in place. So now we have the blue and red. Let's go blue, down, up. Again, like a Rubik's Cube, making everything like that. And it leaves the last layer, which is green and orange. Green, down, over, back, and up. So now we have the first 2 layers solved, or in this case it looks like 3, but it really is 1, 2, 3. So now we have the last layer to go. Okay, so now that I have the bottom layer and the middle layer, or in this case, you know, 3 layers solved, but it's really like 1, and then there's the, you know, second layer. Now it's time to solve the last layer. In this case, it solves just like a Rubik's Cube. There is a possibility for parities, which a parity means, parity for the 4x4, in this case, is going to be either when you're trying to go for the yellow cross, or the last layer cross, and you can only get 3 edges, and one of the edges refuses to go up, and I'll show you that no matter what. There's also an end parity where you have 2 of the cubes aren't in the right placement. You know, you have 1, you know, or really all, but in this case, it could be 1 or 2 that are correct, and the last 2 aren't. So there is a parity to solve that, otherwise you will not be able to solve the cube unless you understand how to get rid of that, or, you know, just continue to scramble the cube until you have a miracle run where you don't run into any parities whatsoever. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and solve like a Rubik's Cube. I've got the yellow cross, or I got the L right here, so just ignore that. So this is, again, kind of like, imagine this is just, you know, one center here, so like 1 L. Or I could have a bar or the cross. So in this case, I got this. So I'm going to go ahead and show you that. Again, I'll put the algorithm below so you understand how to do it if you don't understand how to do a Rubik's Cube. But hopefully you do, and this is just going to be a refresher. So I'm going to go ahead and so now I got the bar, and now I'm going to do it again. Now I've got the cross. Okay, so now that we have a cross here, I'm going to go ahead and show you what a parity scenario is. In this case, it'll be when there's only 3 edge pieces and one of them is missing. So we'll go ahead and scramble that now and get it to where it needs to be. Okay, so now we have the parity. Again, I have a video about just this parity, but for this video's purpose, I'll do it again. I'm not going to go ahead and go really in depth with the algorithm. I'm going to go ahead and keep it down below, and I'm just going to go ahead and do it slowly for you guys. I might just say, you know, turn, so I can signify that I'm turning something. But again, this is an algorithm where you have 3 of the 4 cross, and there's nothing you could do because you can, you know, attempt to get the cross in place, and it won't do it. So here's what you have to do. Again, I'm going to be rotating the inner columns, and you know, when I refer to these columns in the algorithm below, you know, you're gonna notice that I'm gonna say like middle right and middle left. Whenever I move right, I'm gonna be moving the top layer twice. Whenever I move the left, middle left, I'm gonna be rotating the front layer twice. So it'll all make sense. So let's go into it. And there you have it. I didn't really talk. I didn't want to jumble it up. I just wanted to strictly focus on the algorithm. And again, I'm going to keep that below so you can have a little better reference about what to do in this case. But yeah, no matter what, you'll have that yellow cross solved. So now that we have the yellow cross, let's go ahead and align the edges. So in this case, you want to always find where you have two edges. In this case, blue and red work, and the orange and green are not lined up. In some cases, you might have all four line up, which is always great. In this case, it's just a simple little algorithm. Again, I'll keep below, and I'll just show you. So it's going to be right up, down, or it's going to be right up, U twice, down, back, up, back, and down. And rotate that top layer once. And then I'll have it all in place. So again, what I'm going to show you, if it happens, but I have one edge piece here. In some cases, you might have none, but no matter what, if you do have a solved edge, or an edge that's in the right place, whether it's solved or not, if it's in the right area, if there's a, in this case, there's orange, blue, and red and yellow, if that's in the right area, keep it there. And it could be anything else. I notice there's no more, so I'm going to go ahead and keep this to my right. I'm going to go ahead and solve like a Rubik's Cube. Cool. In this case, all of these cubes match. They're all in the right orientation. But for all intents and purposes, I'm going to go ahead and throw out this parity. Okay, so since all of these corner pieces match or should be where they need to be, I'm going to go ahead and scramble it, or basically scramble into a parity to show you exactly how to get out of a parity. A parity will occur when you have two corner pieces that match and two that should not be in the right place. So again, let me go ahead and show you how to do that. Okay, so here you have it. You have this piece is correct. Blue, red, yellow, blue, red, yellow, green, orange, yellow, green, orange, yellow. This does not match, nor does this. So how do you do this? So I'm going to put below, right down here, the actual algorithm if you want to actually see, in letters, U, F, all those fun things. But let me go ahead and just do it. It's actually pretty simple. I'm going to be using just this middle right piece and either one or two of these top layers. So you're going to want to go 1, 2 in the middle right. Top layer is going to go 2 over, middle right again twice, 2 layers twice, middle right again, 2 layers twice, and there you have it. So the parity is unsolved, but now you have to go ahead and get these pieces back in a line, just like you would before. You got to get the edge pieces correct. So you're going to just do that basic algorithm that you learned earlier to get everything to match. So now all the edge pieces are aligned properly, and now all you have to do is get the corner pieces back into proper alignment. So let me go ahead and here's one there. And now they're all matching. So this one, as you can see, is proper, 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 proper. So now we go ahead and solve the last step. This last step is exactly like a 3x3. There's going to be no parities that can occur. If you don't know how to solve this last step on a 3x3, I'm going to put the algorithm below, but it's very simple. I'm not going to go ahead and again talk about the algorithm. I'm just going to go ahead and do it, as you should know how to solve a 3x3 by this point. So you're going to start with the right side. Go 2 over, down, up, back, down, and then repeat over here. And then you have these two completely solved, leaving this one to be solved. And repeat it one more time. This will completely solve the cube. Voila. As you can see, everything is intact as it should be, and everyone is happy once again. I hope you've learned some awesome things, and I hope you watch more of my videos as they come out. Again, if you have any questions on the parodies, again, reference my other videos. I, again, made videos specifically about parodies and how to solve them. So they're really quick, 2 to 3 minute tutorials. Instead of having to go through a whole long video, it gives you a good reference point to have if you ever do this with somebody or someone's house or by yourself and you just come across these parodies and you haven't memorized them yet. It's good to have as a reference. So again, happy cubing, and I will make another video soon. Thank you.